off on close unless it's a point spread. Unless it's a point spread. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Bears dumped their offensive coordinator.
Good.
Joel Embiid is finally ready to play, and Jeff Saturday joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the Miami Dolphins holding the Rams to no touchdowns and beating them in Los Angeles 23-15. Matthew Stafford completed 32 passes for 293 yards, but could not get in the end zone. Tua Tagovailoa played fine for Miami, but scared everybody when he made a tackle on an interception. Yeah. Miami is now 3-6, but has the second easiest schedule remaining. The Rams are 4-5, tied for 10th in the NFC with your Bears. Wilbon, how does this result affect your perception of each team?
I don't have a perception of either of these teams, and I'm not going to let myself fall for the nonsense that everybody now looks at. Well, are they eliminated yet? They're not officially eliminated. They could run the table.
They could.
This is nonsense, okay? And by the way, the Dolphins are pretty good, but the Dolphins had that period without Tua when they're a completely different team, and they were 2-6, and they're not going to be relevant this season. Now the Rams, who by winning last night could have been very relevant.
Yes.
They're at home, and they lost that game. And by the way, they take the field goal late, and I get it because you're down. You're cutting 11-8.
Yes.
You got to do it.
You got to do it.
Except there's no way in hell they're going to score. They're not even going to get the onside kick, but they're not going to score a touchdown because they couldn't the whole game. They're irrelevant now, too. Both these teams, irrelevant.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I will say that the Dolphins are not going to catch Buffalo.
No.
So they're going to have to pile up 9 wins somehow to get into the playoffs as a wild card.
That means 6 and...
Well, okay, quarterbacks from bad teams. Bryce Young, Carolina, bad team. Sat for a few games, came back in, not setting the world on fire, but has won 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Drake Mace, bad team, New England, sat the first 5 games. He is now 2-3, only has, I think, 14 sacks in 5+ games. I don't think that there's a stigma to sitting down for a while and learning what the pro game is.
There's a stigma, but it's
Mike, if he is your long-term investment, treat him like your long-term investment.
Is coach him. The last quarterback they traded up to get, and they didn't coach him adequately, Tony. The problem is not personnel. It's not Caleb Williams. The problem is failed coaching. And if you want to say anything about the organization, it is that when it comes to the offensive side of the game, there's failed coach after failed coach after failed coach.
Yeah.
And I hope that Ryan Poles... He can get it right, because you know what?
Mike, they could get rid of everybody. They could go top down, GM all the way down, throw them all out.
That's not how that franchise does business.
They could.
That's not how they do business. But the head coach, he's on the clock.
Oh, yeah. Well, you said he'd be out.
And what's my man in Detroit? Is the offensive coordinator in Detroit?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson. I'm looking lovingly up I-94. That's what I'd be doing. 2 big stories to watch is the NBA Cup games, and I'm rolling my eyes, get underway tonight. Philly, Joel Embiid is going to make his season debut finally for the 2-7 Sixers against your Knickerbockers. And 3,000 miles away in San Francisco, Klay Thompson will face the Warriors for the first time ever now that he's a Maverick. Tony, which one is the bigger deal?
So I'm going to yield to you eventually, but from where I'm sitting, it seems to me like Klay Thompson is the bigger deal. He has 4 rings there, and not to put too fine a point on it, Joel Embiid ain't got no rings, okay? Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are, and I use this word advisedly, an immortal backcourt. Just absolutely immortal backcourt. Now, people get old. You and I got old sitting here. But he was a great player there. Sometimes it's time to move on. I will say this, he moved on without rancor, and I'd be stunned if he doesn't get a standing ovation.
He's going to get one of the longest standing ovations you've ever seen.
Embiid might get a standing ovation as well, because they're nothing without him. Right. He hasn't played in a game, and they're 2-7. So he's going to play tonight, but it's the first of a back-to-back. And he has said, I don't want to play back-to-backs. So this is a first of 15 back-to-backs. Yeah. So by the math, he could miss at least 24 games without getting hurt, and he always gets hurt. I told you this before. If I'm a season ticket holder at Philadelphia, I'm screaming consumer fraud.
Well, they're screaming. I don't know that it's anything as sophisticated as consumer fraud. Tony, the bigger deal. This is hard for me because Joel Embiid is
your boy.
Well,
he is.
That's not important. Joel Embiid, when he's on the court, is unstoppable. He's as unstoppable as any big out there. When it comes to being able to score whenever he needs to, wants to.
Right.
Yes, he gets hurt in the playoffs, but right now, so they need him back. And they are screaming in Philly, as you and I have gone over many days. Klay Thompson, though, this is a one-time deal where it's your first time back.
Yeah.
And Klay Thompson is beloved there. I was there every postseason since 2014. He's beloved as anybody who's not named Steph Curry.
Yeah.
All right? So
you agree it's an immortal backcourt.
It is immortal backcourt. Well said.
Yes.
And so the ovation for him will be tearful. And he ain't going to shed the only tears. Don't tell me Draymond Green and Steph and Steve Kerr aren't going to be emotional, because they should be. Everybody in the house will be. Klay Thompson is that important to that franchise and those titles.
Which camera? That camera, I hope. Let's take a break. Coming up, what goes into drawing a player offside? We're going to ask Jeff. Oh, look at that. Ask Jeff Saturday. Thompson has a better chance of reaching the finals this year than Embiid. Do you?
Yes.
Because we always talk, can you get to the finals with Embiid? And I live in Washington, D.C., and we pay attention to the Washington football team. And they had a chance to beat Pittsburgh the other day. It comes down to the last play. It's a 4th and 1. Pittsburgh lines up with Russell Wilson under center like they're going to snap it, but you know they're not going to snap it. Everybody knows they're not going to.
As an older center who wasn't afraid to break a rule or stretch it, I would, when the cadence says hut, I'd give a little squeeze on the ball, right? Little twitch, maybe, Is it in the rules? I don't know. I don't know if it is or isn't, but we do it. And the quarterback, his hands are under your butt. And when he gives a little flick, right? You're hoping that the defensive lineman sees something and it just triggers instinct and they fire out. Fortunately for them, they got the young man. He's a rookie. Everybody in his family, all his friends are like, no, not my baby, not my man. But it has happened to all of us. But let me give you one worse. Because when you're an offensive lineman, and this has happened more often than I would like to admit, when you jump off sides in a no play, and then Peyton Manning looks at you and go, hey, what play were you running? And you go, it's a great question. So we've all been there. We've all been there.
Great.
That's great.
Great. Needed clarity on that. Yeah.
That is wonderful. You can ask about the Chiefs?
No, it's over.
We're not going to ask about the Chiefs.
We're not going to ask about the Chiefs.
We're going straight to the Bears, and this hurts me deeply. This guy, Thomas Brown, the passing coordinator, comes into a new gig after his boss was fired. He has no line. He has no offensive line. He's got 4 of those guys hurt. His quarterback is now skittish. He's in a situation where the offense has never been good in like 100 years. Jeff, what's his priority? Where does this guy start to turn around a now dreadful season?
Yeah, no negative plays. If you can drive home anything to Caleb Williams at this point when he is feeling like the game is flying, is no negative. It is not a bad thing to throw the ball away. Stop looking for the big play to develop downfield. Let's get the ball out of our hands on time. Let's move the pocket, half-field reads, small reads, but make sure the ball is coming out of your hand on time. We can live with all the rest of it. We can punt. We have a good enough defense to keep us in games. And honestly, you don't want to say this to him, but we know it ain't about wins at this point. It's about developing the future of your franchise. And by doing that and him finding rhythm, that will breed confidence. Then you take the shots. But it all starts in incremental steps. And it has to start with no negative plays. Don't take sacks. Don't throw the ball to the other team. Make sure it's on time to your guy. It doesn't have to be touchdowns, just completions and move the ball. That's where we start.
We'll get you out of here on this. This is a great question for an offensive lineman. Deebo Samuel got into it with Niners long snapper Tabor Pepper after Jake Moody missed for the 3rd time in that game. As a center, do you feel a kinship with the long snapper who sort of does what you do, or would you share Deebo's frustration over 3 missed kicks?
I'm probably sharing the frustration by Deebo, if I'm being honest, right? Now, I share a kinship. Justin Snow was our long snapper forever. That's my guy. And so I loved him. We had Vinatieri, in the latter portion of my career, so I wouldn't worry about him missing 3. I can understand the frustration. And you know what? In fairness, I can understand the long snapper taking up ends.
Thank you, Jeff. As always, thank you.
Man.
Love y'all. Appreciate you.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Cowboys announced some bad news about Dak Prescott.
How much more bad news about Dak Prescott can there be?
No.
It's just like a
It's out
repetitive.
for the season.
Huh?
It's out for the season. Everybody knows that.
Get up and first take now. Cooper Flag and Duke. Big test tonight. It's ball night.
You spend a lot of money on clothing. Do you think Jeff is wearing a tuxedo? Like, is he wearing a tuxedo?
Classic midnight blue.
I mean, is that?
I think he's wearing an Eaton shirt.
Is he going out
Probably
tonight?
Custom.
That's something fancy.
No, Jeff is well dressed.
Well,
Jeff knows what
from
he's
you,
doing.
that means something.
Jeff knows what he's doing.
From you.
Huh?
Tonight on SportsCenter at 6 Eastern.
Yes. Now, what's pretty cool is that they have the second highest odds or percentages to make the knockout, second highest odds or percentages to win the group. I mean, the T-Wolves, their defense, are still a work in progress.
Yep.
But what I will say is the Cup is for fun, and how can I bet against my hometown squad?
Well,
so I'm sticking with the Rockets.
Right, and we've talked about maybe some young teams being the ones who want this a little bit. Last year, of course, the Lakers put their stamp on the Cup, but maybe this is the year a young team sort of perks up, if you will. Let's look to West Group B here. Who are you taking?
I will not disrespect the defending champs of the NBA Cup.
Okay.
I'm going with the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, I'm going with the old head, LeBron James, who will be 40 in December. We saw how the Lakers celebrated that victory last season. We saw the champagne popping. They want that feeling again. And damn it, JJ Redick is going to coach because he wants something under his resume as well. I got the Lakers coming out of this group. The Phoenix Suns, we don't know when Kevin Durant is going to come back. That was my second favorite in this group. But KD being out leaned me all the way towards the Lakers.
All right, respecting the defending NBA Cup champs in this, we gave Danny Green a hard one. We gave Danny Green the West Group C, also known as the group of death. It's been known to be nicknamed.
This is the toughest group.
This is tough.
And before Ja had an injury, I liked Memphis a lot.
Okay.
But I'm going to go Golden State.
All right.
Playing unbelievable basketball. Their depth, their bench has been great. Defensively, they're passing the ball. It reminds me a lot of my old San Antonio days that we were playing together. They're not requiring a lot of Steph to be Steph, even though he is still Steph. But they're playing unbelievable basketball, man. They beat OKC. They beat Boston. They're making a statement this year, and I like what they're doing.
All right, so we're going with the Golden State Warriors. We like the Lakers, and we like the Houston Rockets. And remember, everybody, those teams get to go to Vegas. Those are our picks. Very much appreciate it. But since they get to go to Vegas, why don't we go to Vegas? And what I mean by that is put some money on this a little bit. Our betting expert, Tyler Fulgham, is here with us. Tyler, thank you so much for stopping by to tell us what you think about all this. I want to stick in the West to start. What is the best bet of the NBA Cup in the West?
I think Danny Green nailed it with the Golden State Warriors. He, Shanae, Perk, they will tell you on the court that this Golden State team has been awesome offensively, defensively. They have a deep rotation, and they have championship pedigree. Steph Curry and Coach Kerr, proven championship contenders. Now in the post-Clay era, I think they want to show those youngsters in that rotation remind them, I should say, what it's like to be a championship team. So I see motivation for Steph Curry and Steve Kerr in this tournament. So I love the Warriors. They're 15-1. They were 22-1 over the weekend, so I think people are starting to get wise to how well Golden State has played.
Right.
They've been bet, and that's why the price is moving. But I love the Warriors at that price in the Western Conference.
Okay, so you like the Warriors in the Western Conference. What are you looking at in the East as your best bet?
Yeah, there's a lot of contenders in the West. Guys, there's really only two teams in the East that are any good right now, and they happen to be in the C group. It's Boston and Cleveland. And if I consider the East a coin flip between those two teams, which one gives me a better price? Well, to win the Cup, Boston's plus 380. To win the Cup, Cleveland is plus 650. And like I was talking about earlier with motivation, Boston just won the NBA title. They don't need to win the NBA Cup. They don't care. They've proven they're champions. This young Cleveland team, led by Donovan Mitchell, I think they may want to prove to themselves and the rest of the league, hey, we can win a tournament. We can be a championship caliber team. So I see a better price. I see a better situational motivation for Cleveland. And they actually might just be the better team the way they're balling. They're undefeated this year. So I'll take the Cavs as my best bet in the East. And a toss-up between them and the Celtics, they just give me a better return on investment.
Oh, you heard the man. It's the Cavaliers. Tyler, thank you so very much. The NBA Cup, it gets started tonight, but it continues on Friday right here on ESPN. The Lakers take on Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. The Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors face off in our late game. We're going to get you started with NBA Countdown.
And then this happens, blow by. Like, you tried, Booch, you tried.
He finished with 17 points.
Look at him.
The Cavs moved to 12-0 with the 119-113 victory.
I'm so happy for him to continue to take, like, he won Player of the Week, and I asked him, I was like, you didn't win one last year. He was like, no. I'm like, that's one of many. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because this is who he is. You know what I mean? I feel like people just automatically forgot, and we live in such a recency bias world, and I hate it, because this is who Darius Garland is. This is why he was an all-star. This is why he got paid what he got paid. You know, this is who he is. So, you know, for him, it's great to see him continue to be this guy that he's been, even before I got here.
He has been that guy, and fresh off of icing the game for the Cavs, the reigning Eastern Conference Player of the Week, Darius Garland, joins NBA Today. Darius, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with last night, Darius, because you get the switch on Vooch from the drive to the finger gun celebration, the fan trying to give you a high five. Walk me through that play.
Yeah, I just seen a matchup that I like. I know it was crunch time, so just took advantage of the 1-5 switch and just took my time with him and just got to the rim, scoop layup, and yeah, the fan was a Bulls fan, so I didn't like really see him. I was just kind of celebrating with my teammates at first. And then going back and watching the game after, I seen him just like with his hand out. So I was like, dang, my bad, bro.
See, now he knows. Now, whoever you are out there, Darius, the message is now clear. Let's talk a little bit about this team, because this is year 3 of the partnership you've had with Donovan Mitchell. We just heard how highly he thinks of you. How have you guys grown together?
Yeah, the relationship has gotten a lot better. Just not even on the court, just off the floor. Just going to dinners, going to high school basketball games around the Cleveland area, and then just communicating just off the floor. I mean, such a cool just be around. I mean, he's just super hard-lighted. So it's super cool just to have him as a teammate, have him as a friend. I mean, the relationship is definitely growing tremendously.
This team, Darius, has certainly come a long way. But for you personally, you're coming off what you describe as the hardest injury of your career, breaking your jaw, having it wired shut, losing 12 pounds, a liquid diet. How do you reflect on all of that now in the middle of rattling off 12 straight wins?
Just another bump in the road. I mean, adversity always comes with anything that you do in life. So, I mean, it's never in my plans, but I mean, God always puts you through tough times. So I just had to go through that, and I'm glad just to be back healthy this year, rocking with the guys, and we're really rolling right now. So we just got to keep it going. 12 games is good, but we just got to keep it going.
12 games is good. Have to keep it going. You said while you were going through all of that, you lost your joy a little bit for basketball. Where have you rediscovered that joy?
Just being out there with the guys, really. I mean, I was away for months during that time, so I was just at home just watching them just get wins and just doing something that they love to do. And I was at home. I couldn't even eat or talk. I mean, it just makes a big difference for me, being around the guys, being around the coaches, you know, just having laughs, making great memories, and doing something that I really love to do. And on top of that, we're 12-0, so, I mean, anything's better than that.
You have a teammate who has a very unique perspective on this, Tristan Thompson, who said that this group is a humble group of guys, but you're also developing a little bit of swagger walking into games, knowing that you are some bad, How would you describe that?
What's some you said?
I can't say it on Disney Airways, but it starts with an M and keeps going.
Okay, got you. But no, the swagger is definitely there. We even got Jared Allen coming out with fits now. And
that's how you know.
Yeah, you know, we usually get Jay in his Vans and a cool little fit, but now he's coming out with some jeans and some Air Force Ones now. So everybody's feeling good. Everybody's confidence is super high. So, I mean, we're not trying to get too high, get too low.
Tristan was quick to say he reminded you guys that the team with the best start to the season in NBA history is the Golden State Warriors. They started 24-0, and then they ran into the Cleveland Cavaliers. What has he told you about that?
Yeah, he always jokes to say that they had to come see him and Bron and Kai. So he always jokes around with that a little bit, but he's just trying to keep us all locked in because he knows how that ended up in 2016. So like I said, we're looking at the long goal. We're not trying to be like them. We're trying to be on the up.
Well, you all are well on your way to having one of the best starts that we have ever seen. It's been so excited to watch you, and I cannot wait to see how the season continues to unfold for you, Darius. Thank you so much for spending a little of time with us here on NBA Today.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Darius. Darius, we appreciate you bearing with us through some Wi-Fi.